Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. And I bring today a story about a young girl. She's 14 years of age, and she has been beaten, bullied, attacked online, trolled, and abused generally. She is under siege, and she's living in a state of fear. And the people doing this to her are supposed to be the virtuous ones who want inclusivity and equality in all things. They are the social justice warriors, and this is why this woke world of wankery that they have created is causing so many problems for so many people. Because it is unjust, it is unfair, and it is downright dangerous. And they should be ashamed of themselves. I'm going to go straight into this article, and it can be a bit harrowing, but I think it is certainly worth the doing. This needs to be sort of shown for what it is. These people are awful and should be highlighted and shown for the things they do in the name of equality and social justice. They're scum. You'll see that for yourself. Let's look at the article. So straight in here. Bullied, beaten and driven out of her school. Girl 14 became a pariah after asking if people who weren't black could be the victims of R during a class debate on Black Lives Matter. The answer, of course, is yes. Yes, they can. Anti-white R definitely exists. They don't like it, but it does. The message from Becky's school, innocuous in its vagueness, merely reported that there'd been an incident. But it was much more than that. In fact, Becky's parents discovered that their daughter had been brutally assaulted by fellow pupils. Clumps of her hair had been pulled out. Her face and body were bruised, her lips swollen, and so severe were the injuries to her legs she was unable to walk for a fortnight. How awful for her, how terrible for her, but the question here is also, how on earth does a school let a beating go on like that for so long without someone stopping it? Is there no oversight? Are these children not being supervised? Where is the liability here? The school is definitely liable. The head must be held to account. Failure to keep these children safe. The one primary job of a school is to ensure the safety of the pupils, the safety of the children who attend. That is their number one priority. It didn't happen. It failed. Somebody needs to answer for that. But as bad as the physical battering was, its aftermath had more far-reaching and pernicious consequences. Friends of Becky's 14-year-old assailant had filmed the attack on their smartphones and posted it online like some grotesque badge of honour. Yeah, they took pride in beating a child. The next day, the vilification of Becky, which had begun 4 months earlier with taunts, harassment and name-calling within her school, was complete. A montage of photos, insults and accusations was posted online by an unknown troll and viewed 1,400 times. Bullied, beaten and humiliated in the supposed sanctuary of her school, a high-achieving mixed comprehensive with a good Ofsted rating, Becky, also 14, now felt under siege everywhere in the affluent town in eastern England where she lived. So they've not only destroyed her physically and mentally, she now has the humiliation of an entire town because everyone is doing this, because these people are unanswerable. They cannot be found, they cannot be held to justice. There is no hiding place for this young girl because of the fear, the atmosphere of fear that she's put under by the social justice warriors who have attacked a child. They're going after a child. Why isn't this being investigated? The police need to be involved. They need to do the full sort of data analysis of all this. Every single person who's involved in any way, shape or form needs to be put up, charged, taken to court, punished severely. We've got to attack this. The social justice wokery in this country has led to an atmosphere where people feel it is perfectly fine to destroy children because of their perceived beliefs. Well, they're scum. They are scum. They are pond life. Anyway, getting back into the article because I can feel the anger rising. She did not feel she could go back to school and face her enemies. She retreated to her bedroom and withdrew from the world. She became a prisoner, says her mum, Andrea. And the reason? Becky, who is herself the daughter of second-generation immigrants, had ventured an opinion in an impromptu classroom debate started by the BLM movement in 2021. She had been instantly labelled an R. Could other nationalities, including black people, be victims of R-ism? She asked in a spirit of genuine inquiry. BLM was a hot topic at the time, and some pupils had been discussing it during a maths lesson when Becky chipped in with her question, recalls mum Andrea. She was broadening the conversation to ask about respect for all nationalities and cultures, and it was taken out of context and entirely misconstrued by her classmates. Becky's father, David, adds, in that instant, she was labelled an Rist and cancelled. It was as if a monster had been unleashed. Months of vicious harassment, only temporarily interrupted by the school holidays, ensued, and then came the beating, after which Becky's parents were swift to act, and her school, to its credit, expelled the attacker the next day. Expelling the attacker, not good enough. Taking the attacker to court and imprisoning her, that's the answer. She was attacked by a 14-year-old girl. That 14-year-old girl should be in a juvenile detention centre for at least 2 years. At least. Destroy her life. She's destroyed someone else's. That attacker and all her friends and everyone who videoed it, put them in jail. Put them in juvenile detention. 2 years. Completely screw up their education. Completely destroy their future. Just as they have done for this girl. Because they are scum. And they are doing it because of other scum. They're doing it because they feel they can. Because of the woke wankers of the social justice movement in this country and around the world. They all need to be taught a lesson. And the lesson must involve long periods of imprisonment and their lives destroyed as they are destroying the lives of others. While the school reported the assault to the police, David says we didn't want to press charges because we took a moral view that we didn't want to criminalise a 14-year-old. Screw that, criminalise the 14-year-old and get him in jail. That's the only way this shit stops happening, because that 14-year-old will now do it to someone else and someone else and someone else. And by the time they're 30, they will have destroyed hundreds of lives. But we asked them to talk to her, make it known how appalled we were. Yeah, I'll just wag a finger. Oh, they're really appalled that you attacked their daughter like that and filmed it and destroyed her life and posted it online. While in previous generations, bullying may have been confined to within a school. But thanks to social media, victims now find their reputations can be trashed for months or years and to a much broader social circle. Yeah, this is the downside of social justice warriors, having social contact, on Facebook, Instagram, things like that. It gives them an instant audience, self-gratifying themselves on how virtuous they are. Look, we beat a girl. Look at us. We beat children because we are virtuous. Certainly the slurs disseminated on social media followed Becky everywhere. There was no escaping them. Even when Becky's life became so unbearable that she was forced in February of this year to go to a new school, the R-ist smear preceded her. And just as she began to rebuild her shattered confidence, venturing into town on an outing with new friends, she was spotted by a gang of girls from her old school, and she was beaten again. Because beating her once is not enough for these people. They cannot take something you say, destroy you, and leave it at that. They've got to destroy you and destroy you and destroy you and beat you and beat you and beat you every day for the rest of their lives, because they cannot forgive anything, because they are the virtuous ones. They need to be in jail. Andrea, this is the mother Andrea, has also been embroiled in the ritual humiliation of her daughter. I was with Becky in the shopping centre one day and a boy shouted out, "Oh look, there's the Rist." It was as if a floodlight had been turned on us, and it was horrible, she says. Now Becky's despairing parents are telling her story under false names because they fear for their daughter's safety, to warn others about the excesses of cancel culture and the devastating nature of modern bullying by the social justice lot, the woke wankerati, and they are complete wankers, every single one of them. The ubiquity of smartphones and social media has ramped up to unprecedented levels. A 2020 study in the Journal of Adolescent Health, for example, concluded that accessibility to social media and its pervasive use has led to new opportunities for online aggression and poses the strongest and most consistent risk to young teenagers. And remember that young teenagers they're still learning, the brains aren't formed. What happens at that age can literally mean the rest of your life. If you have a good, healthy upbringing, strong-minded and willful, it doesn't matter so much because it's water off a duck's back. You are strong in mind and spirit. You can go and laugh at these people. I do. I get terrible things. Some of the things I say on here I get abuse for. I just go, don't give a shit. Look, this is me not caring about what the woke wankers think. I don't. But when you're 14 and you're at that that forming age where everything matters and everything's important and your hormones are up and all of this, taunts like this can affect the psychological makeup of that person for the rest of their lives. It's cruel, it's damaging, and it's wrong. And it needs to be addressed. This, we don't want to criminalise a 14-year-old is the wrong attitude. What you need to do is criminalise a 14-year-old and criminalise everyone who does it. And criminalise all these woke wankers who attack children like this, regardless of their age. Because it won't stop. It won't ever stop. And Becky needs to be strong, needs to go past this, and she needs to look these people in the eye and say, no, you're the weak ones. You're the scum. You are the ones who cause the trouble in the world. You're the ones who make the world a terrible place, not me. And get out my way and move on. But it's very hard for her. I get that. I completely get that. Anyway, getting back to the story again. A smartphone ban has been implemented in her daughter's old school, but Andrew and David are calling for a blanket prohibition in all schools. Had they been banned, they argue, Becky's adversaries would never have been able to film and share her initial beating or foment the hatred they stirred up during school hours. There is a searing irony at the heart of Becky's story because her parents, both thoughtful, intelligent people, have raised their two daughters to be similarly caring. They characterise Becky as a gentle, polite and well-mannered girl. And I'm sure she is. I'm not going to go on. It's just sort of giving the background of Becky there. But the general point here is that this thing is allowed to happen and fester like cancer because we are not cancelling the social justice warriors. We're not cancelling the woke. The problem we've got is that far too much importance is put on such a tiny, innocuous group. These people are nothings. They are absolutely nothings, and they're nobodies. They have got empty, feckless lives. They do fuck all for society. But they sit there and they've given this, oh, look at me, I'm virtuous, I'm saying this thing. Don't care. I just want you to fuck off. Because I don't care about your opinions. I don't care about your thoughts. I don't care what your perceptions of inequality are. You are a danger. You are causing problems, and your perception of your own virtuosity is a sham, because if you look inwards to yourselves, all you'll see is hate and fear, because that's all you've got in your lives. And I'm going to come up now because I can feel the bile rising and I might just vomit. That we live in such a world is a crying shame. That girl's life has been turned completely upside down and she's living in a state of fear because someone somewhere said, how dare you say something I don't agree with. These social justice warriors should turn their gaze upon themselves. They'll find all the ists and phobias that they claim they see in others inside them because they are filled with hypocrisy, cant, bile, and they spew forth shit and turds from their mouth every time they open them. They are the true scum. They are the ones that should be forced to live in a state of fear. And they are very few. There are not many of them. But they are loud, and the media listens to them, instead of doing what the media should be doing, which is ridiculing them. Because the one thing they really can't stand is ridicule. Well, I ridicule you because you are nothings. You are insects. You should abase yourself at the feet of normal people and crawl under your stone and hide and never come out in society again. Look in your souls if you have one, you empty pieces of sputum. That you would think the beating of a child is sufficient because of something she said just shows exactly what you are. And I'll finish there before I explode in anger. Thanks for listening. If you like what you hear and see on the channel, please hit the subscribe button, or if you haven't already, ring the bell for notifications of future output. Leave a like, leave a comment, please share the video, and until next time, stay safe, stay well, hold true to your beliefs, and goodbye.